up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Jovial Pursuit Podcast. I'm your host, Jovi, with my co-host Brandon. How we doing, Brandon? Outside of obsessing over me this past week, you
Hey,
got so
I
bothered
did.
that I
I
didn't
did.
respond to something that I couldn't respond to. Such a panic. Yo, radio silence.
I'm
Where have you been all my life? I'm like, bro, what's going on? You sent
all
me a
right.
meme.
No, it was a whole like YouTube reel. Or not YouTube,
Oh my goodness.
Instagram.
Yeah, and it wasn't a good one.
It was okay. Let me pull this up.
I've I've watched that group's comedy quite a bit, and for a while they had bangers, but they really don't have them like they did. So I don't know. Especially him. Especially him. I'm not gonna call no names. Guess I gotta work with people one day.
Mm. Which is
I'm not gonna, not gonna say that. But yeah, what did I miss? Cause bro, the way you were like, "Yo, do we got beef or something?" I'm like,
I didn't say do we have beef. I was just checking it
"Mm,
because I you got all right. You got
this
medical
guy's
stuff.
he was
You
in
got
a
medical
panic."
stuff.
Okay, yeah,
You got medical stuff. You
hmm
got like baby, and I was like I didn't think we had beef. I was more like, are you good? Like
nah, you felt
because
like
I
I aired
sent
you
it was
out.
like it was two things.
Can you explain to me the second thing? Because what was it? I seriously only got the video.
Okay. I'm all right. So
Yeah,
let's
call
see
you out
here.
on camera. Let me
So
pull it
there
up.
was there was the one. All right. So there was the one about like the exercise one, right? Did you see that? Yeah, it was like Sunday, and it was about this guy that like breaks into these people's these overweight people's houses and scares them with chainsaws
What,
and then
bro?
and then and then like later on he's like, hey, that was 4 minutes and 20 seconds, great, that's a new record, great job. And and
Where do I know this
it
skit from?
I mean it was definitely done. And then the other one was the dude that like he's like, can mind if I put some white noise on,
That's
and
the only
he's
one I got.
dude, my phone is being weird then.
That's
No, because this has happened a couple times this week where I've sent things to people and like they haven't gotten it.
and I'm
And
like,
I'm
yeah, that
like,
was literally yesterday morning at
my
five
my own
o'clock.
dude, my own
Like,
my own phone is gaslighting me. Like it's
yeah, no, I sent it. I sent the
yeah,
documents.
yeah, because
All,
it
all,
because it's
all the
like it's
paperwork.
like, look, you sent it. It says sent, delivered. And I'm
And
like,
I'm like, bro, the last thing I have in between that was stuff I sent you. So I'm like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
Don't
the deer
don't
got
lie to me
uh,
on camera.
what? I'm not. This is really annoying.
So guys, he hit me up
So
in a panic, mind you. I was like, yo, Brandon, calm down. It's not even that serious. And then he proceeded to not respond for almost an hour.
I was putting on a pool cover with
Nah,
my
nah,
kids.
nah, 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 nah. Because you hit me up and you didn't any longer. So that's what I have. No, I do have medical stuff that I had going on this week. You're not wrong. You were right to check up on me. You hit me with the yo, are you getting my messages? I'm like, if you sent
I
them, I will get them. But apparently that's not the case.
yeah.
Um, I did have stuff going on last week. I had my heart scan. Um, I gotta go over those results, I think, next week. And then
Sure.
this week I had more auto neuro testing.
Ooh.
Um, yo, the way in which these medical professionals speak to me sometimes, all right, my mind might blow it out of proportion, but she kept saying he needs aggressive vestibular therapy. And I'm like, first of all, why do you keep using aggressive? And she's like, so we have this scale in which we monitor people, and it's like basically 1 to 20 for the most part. Do you know where your number's at? I said no. She said 43.
What?
She said 40, 43. Like we start checking people out when they're around 20. And so that's why I keep saying he needs aggressive. I say, yo, it just hurts my heart. Can you not? Like she just
That that is quite the language to put on it.
oh yeah, she said I need to start taking my I take this medication called fludrocortisone, Florinef. And I avoid taking it at times, but it's also like the heart medication that I'm supposed to take on a daily basis that I just kind of like, I don't like meds. I don't like meds. So she's like, yeah, there's hills to die on. Don't choose that one.
What?
She
Oh,
said so pretty much take your med. If you're gonna choose to not take any med, don't pick that one. Pick a different one.
there's hills to die on. Find a different one.
Yeah, because she essentially
Uh,
said, "Yo, there's hills to die on, and you will die on that one if you so choose." So, like, yeah, my
that's
mind
cool.
it brings it places. I'm like, yeah, that was rude. That was hurtful. I felt disrespect. I didn't like it.
I, I mean, so here's the thing in my mind about it, right?
Mhm.
The medical world, as far as your diagnosis, has like blatantly missed things for like a while now. So for someone to be like, no, 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 we're the experts here. I'm like, oh, hold up. You could say that if you had maybe not missed a bunch of stuff, but that's
Yeah, but these are new people, admittedly.
yeah.
Um, and this medication helps me not black out so much. And she's like, we don't need you blacking out before we can even get your other therapies right. So
I mean, I get it, but I think there's like a middle ground to just be like, hey, I get it. You got some history, I got some history. Let's work this thing together.
I wish I've had like only a couple that really talk to me that way. And my boy John, he was an elderly gentleman. He was the one I was doing vestibular therapy with in Minnesota. And he had been doing this for like some 40 years, 40 plus years. Um, and he's like, listen, the only way you're gonna get past this is just by doing it. And I don't care about really hurting you. Like you're gonna be dizzy at the end of this, but let's get it done. And I was like, all right, respect. Because
So
go ahead.
so we so really we just need to go to a theme park sometime and just be like, we're gonna go on all the rides we shouldn't because
I
like
I do that actually. I did that. We went to Orlando Studios, like Universal Studios, here a couple years ago when I was supposed to go on that cruise, and I ended up going on the Hulk, and yeah, we had to leave after that. It was already getting hot, and the hot like throws my heart off. So then I'm hopping on roller coasters that I'm not supposed to be on. They all have this big old placard like, "Yo, if you got a heart
yeah,
condition,"
yep, it's
like,
for sure like I mean, we were recently at an amusement park, and like I was reading all of them, and they're like not back, neck, heart, or pregnancy. Like those are the big four.
And I was like, yeah, yeah, whoever's got heart problems, get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, say it louder for the people in the back. You know who you are. Like,
Yeah, I bet you it's you. And it's a mirror. It's just a big old reflective mirror.
yeah.
So I went on the Hulk, and that one hit like 180 miles per hour or some shit. And my heart started hitting weird beats. So then we get back. Well,
It
we
starts doing like the Phil Collins drum solo, like da 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 da.
bro, I'm sitting there hobbling around because I can't find Jill. I'm like, wait, where's my wife? I hate my vision's getting rough. I'm like, look at it. So
Also,
I eventually spot her, and I'm like, yo, so we gotta go now.
let's wrap this
She's
up.
like, yeah, no, we gotta, gonna go. So we look up to see that our hotel's like a mile and a half away, but we got mixed up in the direction. So we went to go
Oh
ask
no.
these like janitor people who were hanging out, because we were just gonna walk, because we were like, yo, save the money, fuck Uber, and just walk. Shoulda not said fuck Uber. Um so what had happened was,
Oh no.
I'm looking at the map and I figure out which direction we're supposed to go. But she ended up proceeding asking the gentleman, and they sent us the wrong way. And it's not until like we get almost half a mile down the way that I'm like, nah, this is saying we're going the wrong way. So we have to turn around. So now we got 2 miles back to our spot. It's
As you're doing the Phil
it's
Collins, just
95 degrees. The humidity's got it up to like
oh yeah.
105, and we're walking. And I didn't have much water. Long story short, we finally make it back after she tried to stop me, and I said, hey, "Yo, I cannot stop. I need to make it back right now. My heart rate is like shot up to 217, and this is after a half hour of sitting that it's still that high. So it was higher than that, and I'm checking my watch at this the Fitbit at the time, and I'm like,
Mm-mm.
um yeah, that's not good because it's still doing weird pitter patters. I go to hop in the shower, and I'm like fading. So I had to call her in like, yo, I need you to like keep me standing because I'm gonna fall.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I almost died that day.
That's not good. I'm glad you didn't die. I'm
So
really glad
long
for that.
story short, yeah, take your heart meds, and maybe take the ride if you have heart issues and you already been on roller coasters that you weren't supposed to be on.
Yeah. I did like I did I did when we went to the amusement park, I did see someone pass out on a ride. And it's weird how much like people are just like, ah, they're strapped in where they go. Like it was just
It's
the weird
the
thing.
it's the loose neck that I'd be concerned with, because vertebrae are being displaced. Like oh, it's such a stupid
Yeah.
scene. Just like you just see him just click, 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 click. Yeah. Click, click.
Man, I went with my oldest son on Wild Thing at Valley Fair.
Mhm.
And we've been on some pretty big um pretty big roller coasters before at like Busch Gardens and things.
Mm-hmm.
And he normally does all right, but he got in his head a little bit earlier in the day. And
Okay.
he so we get to the top and I was like, wow, isn't this is pretty cool. And I've been on this ride enough times in my life where I'm like, meh, well, it's not really that exciting, but it's kind of something you got to do when you go. And my my son, we get to the top and I look over and he goes, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. And I was like, oh no, I lost him. And so
Uh,
then I was doing roller coaster therapy because we hit the drop first and then he was not enjoying it. And I was like, that was the worst part. And the whole time I'm just like looking over as I'm like, it's okay. Remember to breathe. We'll focus like challenge the fear. It was
yeah.
weird to be like therapy dad in a roller coaster and be like, we can do it. Like and just jostling all about like a pinball machine.
Oh, you
Uh,
have more kindness in your heart than I do. I'm just the. You might as well just hold on. We're up here now. So grab my
yeah.
hand.
It's
Just
there's no go back now.
after a certain point, it's like, what can I really do? You see, my head
Well,
is smashed backwards. Like I'm saying all this nice stuff, but my face looks disconcerted. So, like,
well, because I mean, you gotta try and connect somehow, because otherwise it keeps the panic going instead of just being like, hey, it's all right.
no,
Like,
I do the tried and true. Just laugh about it. You know, a kid falls down. You got it.
yep.
It just it usually gets by because it shows like falling's not so bad or laughing tear his face. Just yeah, you're looking at me like you're concerned.
I just don't want to be
Laugh in the
actually
face of
maybe I do.
fear.
There's well, there's part of me that's like, if we both ever end up in a spot where there's a fear sort of terrorist sort of situation, it's just gonna be an interesting
I am gonna
dynamic.
laugh. I am
I
absolutely gonna laugh.
I know, but at the same time, I think I would be so bad about it. Like too. I don't think because terrorism, the reason it works is if they get you afraid. So if you're like, I ain't scared.
Terrorism, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, do they choose you to be the now torture victim because you laugh? And what in
Ooh.
what way are they torturing you? I have
No, I
people know my fears. They know which
here's,
one. It's
here's
not
the
gonna
thing.
be the gun. I can
We
assure you
would
that.
I definitely think I'd try to be like, no, definitely don't shoot me. No, oh no.
And
Oh
then they shoot
no.
you in the
That's
hand. You're like, oh,
you're supposed to shoot me in the
stop it.
head.
Oh, my head or heart. Come on. Just
Come
look
on,
at it.
that's rude. Like I
Just be
I
like, I'm
definitely
like
think
Jesus.
it's the exact thought I had. I got something coming with Jesus. Um,
Oh,
here's the
God.
thing. It would not be good because I think we'd be both like goofing around. And then I think what
Oh,
would
we
probably
can't
happen
both
is
be in
then
the same bank like when this is
well
going down.
but then they'd be like, all right, if you're not taking this seriously, we gotta torture one of you. And I'd be like, oh, now it's gonna turn into like we gotta turn on each other and be like, choose him.
Choose
Cause
me. Wait. Huh? I messed up the bar to try it again. Start from the
yeah.
top. Wait, hold on. From the top.
Yep.
Say the line again.
Okay. We gotta choose someone to torture.
I, where's your like where's your inspiration coming from? Because I don't feel your heart in it. Like, can you
Oh wow, you want me to go?
just from can you
No,
just bring it
nope,
up? Just
nope. Because everything after here is inappropriate accents and and just it's just not good.
I mean, oh. Yeah, see, that's why I'm getting shot in the hand first.
Uh
Oh
just
god.
like wait, I'm not I don't really feel like you want to torture me. I think you sure don't want to snuggle?
You need a hug.
Mm-hmm.
You clearly need a hug.
Bring it in, Vlad. Come on.
Vlad. Oh,
Your
it's always
your mom didn't
Vlad.
love you, but we do.
Listen, you can come back from this. This doesn't have to be the end.
We believe in you.
I mean, I don't really think you're gonna change. I'm gonna be honest. I'm more of a straight shooter. He likes
Mhm.
to lie to people. We have our differences, but he's a good person.
I
Should give
mean,
our backstory.
yeah.
So
Just
we
be
run a
like,
show together, and I'm the asshole. He's the nice guy. You see the dynamic.
it's we hit him with the good cop, bad cop pretty frequently.
Yeah, and then sometimes as a bad cop, I got to give something nice, so I do a little good advice at the end. It's nothing
It's
crazy.
true. See, you can
Also,
come back from this, Vlad.
as a bad cop, I do talk about cocaine a whole lot.
Maybe that's why
Oh,
maybe that's why we get like taken by terrorists.
we
They
could
think we're
team
in it.
up. We could team get the band together.
Yeah.
I got drums of
Yep.
cocaine. I got drums.
I like boats. Boats are fun.
I always wanted to be on the high seas. Just where'd this episode go?
I don't know. We're supposed to talk. We're supposed to talk about something so serious today.
Fatherhood.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how unserious it can be at times, and why we need to get serious.
Just reel it back in.
Right.
Just got away with our sort of
Oh,
monologue. Ooh.
um, I don't know. As I was sitting in here last night, I was thinking about well, one, I was obsessive with Jill yesterday. I couldn't stop grabbing the baby and whatnot,
Oh.
randomly like popping in. And she's playing video games, and I'm like, move your hands, snuggling up and whatnot. I knew I
Mhm.
was being a nuisance, but I'm like, I don't care.
Yep.
I can't wait for her to be here. So, um, it made me just think about a couple things. Let's talk about fatherhood.
Mhm.
So, one thing I haven't prepped you with this at all. One thing I wanted to ask you, if you were to be having your first kid now, with what
Mhm.
you know now, what would be some of the main things you'd like change up or want to look at more?
That's a good question. Um, right now, honestly, I I think I would challenge a lot of the pressure that I think sometimes fathers put on themselves or have
Mhm.
put on them. Like um so I think there's a lot of pressure on what sort of expectations you have or don't have for yourself.
Mhm.
So I think I'd challenge some of those. Um I think if I was having a first kid, I think I'd be a lot more chill. A lot more chill. Cause first kiddo comes around and I kid you not, like so for our first kiddo,
Yep.
I would when we'd be in a room and my wife was much more relaxed about me, but I was in like hyper protective mode and for those that know me, I get weirdly detail oriented in situations where I need to be like protective of people. So like when someone would be like, "Oh, can I hold your baby?" I'd be like, I watched you 13 minutes ago cough into that hand and you haven't washed them since. Of course you cannot. Or there'd be a child that'd be like running and they'd be like, I want to touch your baby. They'd be like, your
Mm.
shoe's untied. And the other
Mm.
one looks like it's about to be undone. And that one looks like you have some sort of weird fungus on your inner left arm. So no.
Not
Like it was
fungus in her left arm. That's
like
very specific.
I'm telling you, it was like I plan things out a little bit in my head when I'm in that role. Like what my wife didn't realize initially when we were married that I kind of did that, until we were biking one time in St. Cloud, which for anyone that needs to bike in St. Cloud, it's a bad idea. Just don't do it. Cause
Why?
because people all right.
I biked in St. Cloud a whole lot.
People in St. Cloud like legit don't like, especially around the university where there's all the alleys and things. People like legit don't look where they're going. And so you
Okay,
can be
yeah. I
like,
mean, I okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
I
Enough
mean,
said.
I yeah. So we were driving and there were like these three pit bulls and these three pit bulls and I'm like, I don't see a leash. I'm gonna get ready. And they were like 3 blocks up. And so I had this water bottle, it was this Nalgene, and it was filled with water. And I was like, I know I can like get one of them good. Like if it tries something.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife looked back and I was biking with one hand with my water bottle. And she was like, what are you doing? And I'm going,
Just prep.
just ready, just ready. So like that sort of stress stuff, like with kids, like I just was always like safety conscious and maybe a little bit too like I'm not really that way anymore.
Right.
Like so like if the kids are like, can we go on the trampoline without any nets on it? I'm like, that's a bad idea, but sure. Like I'll you want to be wise or like our youngest son wanted to ride down our driveway with no helmet, no shoes, on a skateboard, like he was like on like some sort of like luge. And I was like, that's I'm gonna let it play, but I want you to tell me
Yeah.
before you do it, what are the safety concerns? And he's like, I could hit my head, scrape my toes. There's no way to actually stop myself without actually scraping my body. And I was like, right, there are no brakes except your skin. So any other choices you want to make? And he was like, I should probably put a helmet and some shoes on. I was like, yeah, yep. So, but as a whole, like
So maybe I
I
should
think
have
she
more stress in my life. I'm like, I kind of want to raise a 90s kid, which means they still get bumps and bruises that I'd be like, it'll be all right. I know how to patch it up. I worked in a hospital.
yeah, so there's like
Be fine.
here here's the thing though, like there's certain things that you're like you can't come back from that one. Like like head injuries, like those are a little different. Don't do it. You look like you have just the darkest joke or one liner coming.
No, 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 because again, you bring up specific things, and they just so happen to be targets in my past history. That yeah, technically you cannot come back from head injuries.
Hmm. Also, have you ever seen an x-ray of an infant's hand?
It's got more bones in it. Well, that's because they haven't fused together.
Yeah. Our daughter slammed her finger in a door and it was like
Hmm.
pinched. Like, and I thought for sure she would like broke something. And that thing just plumped right back up, like reinflated. And I was like, what? What?
There's so
And then
many
I
more
saw,
gaps in. I
yeah,
mean, they need to be pliable for the reasons of aforementioned bumps and bruises.
yeah.
Back in the winner's circle. All right.
Yep. The I will say the soft spot in the skull for the first 2 years, still creepy.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
That's,
That one, you gotta have a hardened skull before I let certain things slide. I'll give you that
mhm,
much.
yeah. But I think
Yeah, you
shifting
don't mess with that.
expectations, yeah,
Fair enough.
shifting expectations for myself and just learning to chill out, I think a little bit more
Fair enough.
instead of feeling like you got to make sure everything's okay. What do you,
Hmm.
this will be really interesting, like to see how you shift.
Okay. How I should. I mean, how much I you always assume I'll shift more than I assume I will. So it's that is fascinating because I don't I mean I know I will have shifts, but how far are they from where they are now? Like how much have I just kind of like stretched some of my rules to now fit such a situation more
Well,
so than like actually pulled away from that completely.
I don't know that it's that you fully pull away from some of those beliefs or thoughts as much as your character changes in how you administer them or how you approach them. It's like the same, like with marriage. Like there, the things I thought I was gonna be like in marriage, and then how I'm like now. I wish I could go back in time and be like, "Hey, man, we need to have a conversation about some stuff." Like, because you think you're probably better than you are. I need you to just take a step back and realize you
Yeah,
got to lean into it.
fair
Parenting's
enough.
a, parenting's kind of the same way, and I think I've told you like
Yeah,
there's things as a dad that I had to work on or have to work on still that were never going to happen outside of doing it for my child because
yeah.
I love my wife, but if she was like, this is an area of your life you need to work on, I'd be like, it's really not that bad. But then when your kid starts doing the things and you're like, oh,
Yeah, when they call you out on
oh,
certain life choices that you're making, and it's like, oh, you little shit. Now I gotta. Oh, you were my last little saving grace. As long as
yeah,
you didn't say nothing, I was good.
yep. And then you said something or like you did it, and then you got to be like so like for me one of the values that's shown up in parenting is if I know that behavior comes from me, it's my job to own it. It's my
Mm-hmm.
job to like I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go like you got that from me, you saw me do it, and I'm gonna help like model it for you and show you how to not do it, which
I,
also means I gotta work on that.
I'll be honest. I started having that same approach in my own marriage, and it's because I recognized I have an influence of personality that kind of leeches to those around me. And I had noticed that my wife had picked up certain traits that, although I was in the act of changing myself, they were still consistent and building in her, where I'm like, all right, I got to take ownership of that because
Mhm.
I influenced that to even become some, a part of her where that never was before. So I have to again become an example and further model
Yep.
the change that
Hmm.
I did the damage. I got to put on the band-aids and mend the wounds and whatnot in
Hmm.
that same regard. And that's just kind of not just my marriage, but like most of the relationships that I have.
Right.
I've switched to that because again, I recognize that each of us does leech off and take on other things or give off other things
Yeah.
to people. So
Yeah.
hmm,
It's parenting is in order to do it well in being a father, it's an incredibly intentional process. And I think a lot of the illusion out there is parenting involves just how do you make sure your kids are doing all right, but it starts with yourself
right.
and like what are you modeling and what are you doing and being intentional with that. And it's great to do it, but it does feel like this sort of cosmic sort of spiritual trick where it's like, oh, you thought you were done getting better as a human. Psych, here's a tiny thing that needs you to be there, everything. And they're going to pick up your bad stuff. That means you still got to work on it. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. I was uh I was just thinking with what you were saying, like it's one of those things to just be intentional in life in general shows great benefit. Like you see a lot more things that you never paid attention to. Like and
yeah,
that's a concept that I've I literally have on our calendar downstairs. Well, it was for last month. Like be intentional. Um just in the way that I wanted to handle things and like even in my little outbursts, like I immediately recognized the fault in it and the apology that needed to be had, although you didn't make it seem like but there needed to be one. I still felt like if to move forward, like I need to show like one, um, an apology, but two, the intent of change as far as like really
Yeah.
trying to, narrow in on those outbursts or like different things or
Hmm.
like reeling in like where my focus is in general. Um,
Hmm.
again, to be able to just pass it off to those that I walk amongst. So
Hmm.
it is such a weird balancing beam thinking about parenthood, especially like knowing that so many people have an unbalanced structure of it,
Hmm.
of like how much do I keep of myself while also giving every other bit of myself to this little creature, so parasitic thing that can't do anything for itself. How do you reel in the unbalanced nature of it?
Um, you have to identify the the con- kind of the cons or like the ditches, if you will, on both sides of the road, like
Mhm.
the things that you so like I'll give everything to my kids, everything that I can give them,
Okay.
but at the same time there's kind of this reality that you cannot like people will say the saying like you can't pour from an empty cup, this idea that you can't give something that you don't have. And so I want to give them everything, but we got to have the balance of like, how do you maintain
Is the cup
friendships?
empty?
What do you mean?
You can't pour from an empty cup. Is the cup empty?
Yeah,
How? Is
because you
air
already
not a
poured out.
thing?
Okay.
I'm just saying there's something still in that cup. You just got to
Okay.
change the way you think of it.
Here, oh no, still not gonna work.
It
Because here's the
works.
thing. No, it doesn't.
It
Because here's
works.
the thing. If you're looking at that, if you're pouring something from a cup, they want what's in the cup that's liquid. They can already get air from the air by breathing, so they
What
don't
if it
need
was marbles
your.
in the cup?
They want the marbles. They don't want the air.
What if they wanted to remove the marbles to have the air in the cup? They wanted the space.
We're going really far down this. This. Here's the thing.
It's a
It's
fruitless
it's
battle.
about it's about balance. Like I get the idea that that's probably coming from a side of me. So when we first had kids,
Mhm.
like I've probably gotten up with our kids in the night maybe more than my wife actually. Um because I was like, I want to be the dad that's always there to do everything, to be everything that they need. You can't do it because you're gonna like burn out and you're gonna like not be able to do it. And then you just get like irritable and you turn into a dad you don't want to be.
Right.
So me pushing back on like you can't pour from an empty cup is more like, listen, I've gone down that road and like I've tried my hardest to be like, I can push my body and my emotions to the nth degree. I
Mhm.
can outwork everyone on the planet. And I can still tell you, I've seen over the precipice of my limits and I go, it's not worth it. It's better to have the balance of taking care of self and others and finding that balance of doing too much and too little.
I ended up taking the idea of, yeah, you give all that you can, but at the very least, once you have no more physical to give, it's still the space of you. Like, because what if they don't need anything else from you, but they just want the space? You're the cup. You're and what that cup represents still matters.
Fair
So
enough.
like even if you can't really give anything else, be an available space.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
I,
No, that makes sense. I thought you were trying to argue like there's always something in there you can keep going.
I was at first, but I had a backup answer.
Okay, because I
I,
definitely was
I do
like,
both.
this is this this is also coming off the recent story of like I walked farther than I needed to and didn't take breaks to drink water and like almost exploded my heart.
I
So
mean,
aren't aren't
I
we
made
working on
it
like
back. You dig deep and you make it back, and then you rest.
or you
Yeah,
or
no,
you just take
I was on the floor like collapsed for a solid like 20 minutes before I even like tried to move. It's
yeah.
bad. No, I it just to finish up with the cup stuff. Yeah, it's more like people people think that it's just the expenditure of what you have to give, but sometimes it's just being there. So that I did have pushback on that, but there's also just the philosophical question of like, but
Hmm.
is it still empty? Da 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 da. And just and just pestering. But I had two answers.
Is it still empty? Te-
Oh,
Technically, no, because there's air and atoms that are still in the cup. Mhm.
or just be the cup,
Yeah.
not just the
Also,
contents. I can't wait.
I it's gonna be a great time. And giving your like giving yourself space to sit with the things that you get to grow in and be intentional with it because there's so much coming at people when they're in those seasons. Sitting with the process and being like, what am I growing in? What am I learning? It That's part of the process too.
Yeah, again overlooked. A lot of people overlook those moments,
Yeah.
and I'm just it's not that I want to make sure that I do everything or accomplish everything right before she gets here, but it's more like let's get the ball rolling sort of thing,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Just get started because it's so much more of a difficult time to get started when those matters change, you
Hmm.
know. Now the
Yeah,
physical
for
presence
sure.
is here, and now you got to do twice as much to kind of build up and whatnot. I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know. And then also just the idea of like there's been so many things as not having a father that to me I know I want to shift for
Hmm.
myself. Um being there, um big one obviously. Um not being salty all the time. Like
Yeah.
again having more of a relaxed nature. I've had enough angst in my early life that they don't need that.
Yeah.
To a mindset to pass on like good knowledge, more more of the being able to believe in oneself and not piggybacking off of people, and like being able to set the path that you truly want for yourself.
Yeah.
So those are a lot of my directives at this point, and I just I finally look toward the future of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
Hmm.
I'm gonna roast the shit out of that, baby. It's gonna be hilarious. With your
Don't
little
do don't
alien looking ass.
I'm telling you, don't do it.
I can't wait
Don't,
until they become more witty than me. It's gonna be like, oh, nah, nah.
dude. Knowing you, I'll be surprised if she's not pulling something off by like five. like like she,
Yeah, it's gonna be there, unless
yeah.
unless she gets Jill's docile nature. I started out that way, so it could be a curveball. You gotta watch out for the quiet ones. they be up to no good sometimes.
That's true.
I was always up to good, me personally. Your boy was always up to good.
No way.
Oh, always doing good. Never did nothing bad. That's on the record.
Sure. Sure.
All right,
I
man.
asked
Oh, go
I
ahead.
did actually ask I asked my mom so I thought in our family I was like the good kid. And I was
Mhm.
like, "Mom, who was the worst in our family? Like who's the bad kid?" And she goes, "Hands down you. For sure you." And I was
What?
like, "No way." I was like,
What?
"You're compliant." Like you guys would tell me like if you handed me a map at like 5 years old and we're like, "Brendan, get across town," I'd be like, "Yeah," and go do it. And no, they were like, "No, for sure it was you. You were the naughty one." So
Guys, he had to have been a bully as a child, and that's why he does therapy now. And he knows they parents know, and if they're calling you the worst of the, oh, you've changed, sir. You've changed. I might
I
have to
wish I
reevaluate
knew
this
what
show.
I
The man's a whole criminal.
wish I knew what I wish I knew what she was referencing. I mean I know there was some stuff. Like apparently I had buried my sister in her crib with my toys one time. Like when she was like an infant.
I mean, at least it wasn't like in the snow for 20 minutes where you couldn't
That's what
breathe.
I'm saying.
Anyhow.
Sounds like a real thing.
Don't worry about it, guys.
We're
I am
in
healthy
today's
today.
sibling game, we're gonna play a little game we call Avalanche.
Oh, I just packed it on.
Yep.
Oh, I panicked. Anyhow. Story for another day. Or never. Peace
All
out.
right.